Hey everybody and welcome back to some more Feed the Beast Beyond. Last episode, we were working on setting up an unlimited obsidian generator using these igneous extruders and the magma crucible from thermal expansion, and as we could see, it's been doing pretty well since the end of last episode. It now has 470 blocks worth of obsidian, and we also set up a new wireless redstone flux power system using the flux networks, which allows our Woot mob spawner to work, and so now we do have a chest that is full of skeleton drops. Unfortunately, most of those drops are kind of useless in the form of these bows, and so we should probably at some point set up some kind of filtration system that just gets rid of all of the bows in their entirety, maybe put like a trash can over here or something. But in good news, we now have 19 skeleton skulls, which for those who watched me build this Woot spawner, you'll know that's going to be really helpful for building more Woot spawners or building bigger Woot spawners, because building these things requires a ton of mob heads that we just really didn't have a couple of episodes back when we tried to build this. But that is not the subject of today's episode. Today, the first thing I'm going to do actually is sleep, I guess, because I think it's probably dark outside. It is. It also tells us in the bottom right-hand corner there that it is currently night. So I'm going to go ahead and sleep. We should definitely start to look into some form. Oh gosh, I've been trapped inside of a wall. Okay, that is not where I wanted to go, but it does lead me quite nicely into this new room that I've built between episodes. This room, the use for this room, I should say, will become apparent a little bit later on in today's episode. But we should really set up some kind of alternative power generation system, because our solar panel, while good, is kind of running low quite frequently, although we could also look into upgrading the solar panel to a higher tier, and then maybe upgrading the capacitor bank as well to increase that kind of internal buffer that we have of redstone flux to hopefully get us through the night. But again, not the focus of today's episode. The first thing that I'm going to do in today's episode is I'm going to make a trash can from extra utilities. This is going to allow me to get rid of all of these bows. And actually, do we have a server in here? We don't. Let me quickly see. Oh no, we don't have thermodynamics installed. I've been playing way too much 1.7 using the item conduits from thermal expansion, but we don't have them in this version. For now, I'm going to put this here, and we'll get rid of all of these bows like so. If you just hold shift and then drag left click and get rid of all that stuff nice and easily. That should allow our Woot spawner to continue to work. And so the first thing that I want to work on in today's episode is yet again our storage situation, because right now we don't have a whole lot in terms of storage. We've got this medium storage crate from Actual Editions, which is doing a fairly good job, and we do have quite a bit of space in the medium storage crate, which would probably allow us to get through the next couple of episodes without having to worry too much about running out of storage space. But we do have a bit of a problem with our current system in that it's not very well equipped to handle large amounts of a single item. For example, if I wanted to put in 1,000 cobblestone right now, we've got almost 1,000 cobblestones. That's maybe not the best of examples, but if I wanted to put in a large amount of cobblestone, putting it into the crate would take up a lot of slots. You can see here, tin ingots, for example, are taking up 3 of the slots, and we've got iron ingots taking up multiple slots. The dark oak down here is also taking up quite a lot of slots, and if we were to put it into the drive here, the 1K storage cell, it would take up quite a lot of bytes, which we don't have that many of because we've only got a 1K ME storage cell. And so we're going to set up another form of external storage, kind of like the medium storage crate that we have over here, but this time we're going to use the storage drawers from the storage drawers mod. These are pretty cool, and for those who are unfamiliar, these storage drawers, they act kind of like barrels from the Jabba Barrels mod, or even barrels like the one we have over here that can store a large amount of one particular item. But unlike these barrels, and unlike something like a deep storage unit maybe from previous versions of Minecraft, these have a bit of a secret weapon that is the draw controller, which allows you to connect all of the storage drawers together and have them act kind of like one storage block, if that makes sense. It's going to be a multi-block, but it acts as one storage block. And so what we can do is, if we craft up this draw controller and then connect all of our storage drawers to it, we can put a storage bus on the draw controller and access everything in all of the connected storage drawers, which is really cool, and is hopefully going to give us quite a large amount of space. So I did do quite a bit of tree chopping between episodes. We've now got 321 dark oak wood. Thankfully, we do have a very large forest of dark oak wood fairly close to us, and so I'm actually going to go ahead and craft up a couple of stacks here of dark oak planks, because one thing that the storage drawer mod does require is a heck of a lot of wood. So let me go ahead and craft up just a couple of chests. We'll use our dark oak wood just because we've got a lot of it. It does say that the dark oak chest here is from the quark mod, so I do want to check real quick if that actually works. If I do this, and then stick you in the middle, does that work? It totally does. Okay, so let me go ahead and craft up a couple of these. We are going to need quite a few of them. So you know what? Let me grab like 16 of these chests, and then let's let's craft all of those. Actually, we're going to need some more oak wood as well. Flipping heck. And let's craft all of those into more of these basic drawers. Without the oak wood, I want to use the dark oak wood, mostly because we've been using dark oak wood for pretty much everything around the base. So let me go ahead and just grab as many of those as we can craft, actually. And that's going to get us 16 of those. And so what I'm thinking is I'm going to put these in the wall kind of like this, and I want to have like 2 or 3 separate strips of them to kind of fill up this back wall. So what I'm thinking is if we get rid of like an area like this, we're going to leave a little bit of a gap at the top there. It's going to be slightly wider in the middle, of course, leaving a bit of a gap for the energy laser relay, and then the same thing over here along the end. So the middle section is where I'm going to put down these guys, these basic drawers, and these can hold 1 item per drawer. So I'll put all these down like so. And as you can see, if I was to now right-click with, for example, all this marble that we now have and put it into here, it's going to store that marble inside of the basic storage drawer, and that is all that it can store inside of this one singular drawer. Now, for the spaces either side, we're going to take it one step further, and we're going to make the 2x2 basic drawer. So for this, you do need more chests. We're going to need 4 chests as opposed to just the 1, and if we craft this up, it looks something a little bit like, not like that, it is this one right here. That's going to get us 4 basic drawers, 2x2, and these look pretty much exactly the same as these ones, but they just can hold 4 different items. And so we can store a lot more items in a lot smaller of a space, albeit fewer of those items. For example, if I come over to this storage drawer and I hold shift, you can see the stack limit at the top there in Whaler is 32. So we can put up to 32 stacks of marble into this storage drawer. Whereas if I come over here and do shift, you can see I can only put 8 stacks in this one slot, but because I can put 4 different items in it, it can still hold 32 stacks in total, just of 4 different items as opposed to just as 1 item. And so, what we need to do now is we need to make, I'm going to make some more of these drawers in a second here, but what we need to do is we need to get ourselves a drawer controller, which is this guy over here. This thing is made with 5 stone, 1 drawer of any kind, 2 of these redstone comparators, which we should be able to make fairly easily if we get ourselves some more redstone torches. We'll get some extra sticks just because those always come in quite useful. But let's go ahead and craft up a couple more redstone torches, and then we should have, I think, pretty much everything it takes, not to make the controller slave. We want to make the drawer controller. Now, in order for this to work, do we not have any stone? Oh, we don't. Okay, let me quickly also go ahead and smelt up some stone in our alloy smelter over here. Now, in order for this to work, we have to have all of our drawers connected together, and then all of those connected drawers connected to the controller, if that makes sense. Also, it's a little dark up there, isn't it? Let me quickly grab like a torch so I can kind of light this place up just a little bit. I can't see anything up there. There we go. And so what I think I'm going to have to do to connect all of these up is have a couple more storage drawers kind of behind that we're not going to see. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't think I'm explaining myself very well. Did I put stone in here? No? Hold on, oh, it's on alloy only mode. Okay, let me put it on furnace only mode. And once that stone is smelted, we can go ahead and craft up those 2 redstone comparators. And now we should have pretty much everything to craft up the drawer controller. Nice. I did also go ahead and craft up the remainder of the storage drawers, and I fill out the wall here for how I want it to look. I might go ahead and put out some more of these around on the other walls, possibly, especially this wall. I feel like it might look pretty good to have like a big bank of drawers here and here, but connecting those up to the actual system might be a little bit more tricky. But now that we've got this and we've got our drawer controller, what I am thinking is, for example, if I was to put this down right about here, this would connect all of these storage drawers and all of these storage drawers, but it wouldn't connect up all of these storage drawers. Now, I'm not quite sure if you can put 2 drawer controllers in one system, or if that's what a controller slave is for. I've never actually played around with the controller slave. If you know what that does, feel free to let me know in the comment section. But what I'm going to do here, because I also kind of want to have these strips in the middle, I think these look quite nice, having them like separated by these strips of marble. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of make a bit of space behind the wall here, and we're going to put down a couple more of these storage drawers that are going to be a little bit out of sight. And these ones are going to contain items that we don't really use all that much, but definitely still need to be able to store. And so what I'm thinking is we do something like this. That one in the middle is not placed correctly whatsoever. Let me get rid of that real quick and then try doing something like that. But that connects this bank of drawers on the left here to this bank of drawers on the right. And then if we do the exact same thing over on the other side, but this time we put down the drawer controller. And also we should probably almost certainly put down a torch in here. Otherwise we are guaranteed to get some mob spawning inside this little dark space at some point. And so what I'm thinking here is we do this, and then in the middle we put down our drawer controller. So we're not going to actually see the drawer controller, but now if we put down a storage bus right here on the bottom of this drawer controller, it is going to make everything in all of the storage drawers available to the ME crafting terminal, which is going to be super nice and hopefully going to solve our storage problems for quite a while to come. So let me see here. Do we have what it takes to make another storage bus? I think we should. We've got, do we have spares of these? We've got some spare formation and annihilation cores, which are always nice to have. We are, however, missing some glass. So let me grab the last 2 sand that we've got. Actually, wow, I didn't think we were that low on sand. We'll smelt that up over in the alloy smelter. As for the pistons, these shouldn't be too hard whatsoever. I did prepare a little bit here. I stood in the smeltery a little bit between episodes, so we now do have 170 millibuckets worth of congealed blood, just more than enough to get us a ball of congealed slime, which we can use, of course, for our sticky piston, like so. And then now we got that. The glass should be done. It is indeed, and we should have what it takes to make the ME interface, and then finally the storage bus. Nice. So if we look in the system right now, we have 3 pieces of marble. We'll take those out. So we've got no marble whatsoever in the system. The only marble is the 24 marble in this basic drawer. And so now if we quickly break back into here and then also quickly grab some more ME glass cable, which apparently we don't have. Do we have the ability to make some? I think we should. We totally do. Okay, let me grab some of that. I think 4 should be enough. And so what we're going to do, we're going to put our ME storage bus right about there. And then we're going to connect that up to our AE system, like so. We're gonna go, we might need one more piece of cable. Yeah, we're just 1 piece shy. That's fine. We do have what it takes to make another 4. Good stuff, good stuff. We'll throw you down right about there. And so now everything in all of these storage drawers should now be accessible. If we come back over here and we type in marble, you can see that the 24 marble in the storage drawer is in fact accessible. And for example, if we were to go and put down some ME cable in this slot over here and then come back into our ME crafting terminal, type in ME cable, we have the cable, we could take it out and it's going to disappear from that slot over there. Pretty cool stuff. So there's a couple of things I want to do here. The first thing that I want to do is make a key. So you can in fact lock storage drawers. To make a key, we need 2 gold, 1 gold nugget, and then an upgrade template, which is made with some sticks and another basic drawer, which is easy enough, and that's going to give us everything to make the drawer key. And with this, we can right-click onto a drawer to lock it. So now this drawer is locked. We can still pull items out of it, and we can still put items into it, but it will always be reserved for marble, if that makes sense. And also, you can just left-click individually to pull out 1 item, like so, and then you can shift right-click to pull out a stack of items. But you can see, even though there's no marble left in here, it's still showing the marble image, and if we were to put marble back into our system now, it should go straight into here. And just to make sure that items do go into the storage drawer, I am going to come into the storage bus and set the priority to like +10, which is basically going to mean that it uses this storage bus before it uses, for example, this storage bus or putting stuff in the 1K ME storage cell. So it should use these storage drawers as a first point of call. And so what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to go away. I'm going to fill up all of these storage drawers with stuff. I'm going to lock most of them to what I want them to be. For example, these big ones here are going to be things like cobblestone, iron, wood, copper, all the things that we have a lot of, redstone, you know, those are going to be the big ones in here. The little ones are going to be things that we have quite a bit of, but not maybe quite so much of. For example, gunpowder will probably end up in one of these slots over here. And then we might even throw some other things in the ones round back, some stuff that we have a fair amount of that we're never really going to use. This also is going to make it a little easier for us to grab stuff if we need to grab stuff without getting into the AE system. Because, for example, if I needed some iron and iron happens to be here, I can just come over, grab some iron, and then run away and do whatever it is I need to do with the iron. But what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to go away, I'm going to fill all of these up, and I'll be back in a second. And a little bit of organizational work later, and all of our key and valuable items are now stored away in storage drawers, and hopefully over the next couple of episodes we're not going to have any issues whatsoever when it comes to the amount of storage that we have. And even if we do, one thing that I did forget to mention earlier is that you can upgrade these storage drawers to hold more than the base 32 stacks that it can normally hold. If you shift right click on the storage drawer, you'll see at the bottom it has space for 5 extra upgrades, and if you look over in JEI, those upgrades go from a tier 1 upgrade, which increases the storage by 2 times the base value, allowing a storage drawer to go from 32 stacks to 64 stacks, all the way up to the tier 5 storage upgrade, which increases the storage to 13 times the base value. And you don't have to have all of these in, by the way, so you don't have to have a tier 1 upgrade in, for example, to put in a tier 2 upgrade or a tier 2 for tier tier 3, etc, etc, you can fill all 5 of these upgrade slots with tier 5 storage upgrades and get a ton of storage out of each and every one of these storage drawers, which is probably what we're going to end up doing to make sure that we can store all of our stuff in the storage drawers for quite a while to come. I don't want to have to work too much on storage. Like I said, I might put in some more storage drawers over here if I can get that to work. I don't really want to have to run like a line of storage drawers under the floor over to here, so what I might do is at some point in the future, if we need more storage drawers, which I don't think we're going to because there aren't that many items that I didn't put in storage drawers, and I do kind of want them to look nice. You'll see over here on the right, I've tried to organize them all by blocks. Over here on the left, I've tried to kind of group them into relevant areas. So we've got ingots down here, we've got gems over here, we've got mob drops kind of in the middle there, and then farming stuff kind of towards the top. So I do kind of want them to look good and also be productive. I don't really want to just come into here, grab, for example, this one assembler, and then stick that into like one of these drawers up there. I don't want that to be the case, and so if we do put some more storage drawers over here, I might have to make them these bigger ones just because we don't have that many items to fill the smaller drawers with. But for today's episode, guys, that is all we're going to do on storage, and what I want to work on next is a little bit of blood magic. We haven't really done anything magic related yet. We've done a lot of tech stuff, and I want to jump into blood magic for one reason that will become apparent next episode, because there is one ritual in particular that I want to get set up for blood magic that is going to help me out a ton and alleviate one of my biggest kind of nagging points when it comes to modern Minecraft, one of the things that I don't like all too much about it. But before we get deep into blood magic, we of course have to start with blood magic, and blood magic starts with the blood altar. Now to make this, we need 4 stone, 1 furnace, all simple stuff. We also need 2 gold ingots, and then 1 demonic will. And this is where blood magic kind of starts to mix it up in 1.10. In 1.7, there was no demonic will, and there are a couple of new blocks and crafting tables and mechanics in 1.10 that weren't in 1.7 that are new to blood magic, the first of which is this demonic will. The demonic will, an imprint of a demonic entity attached to a creature, can be obtained by killing a mob with a sentient weapon or by throwing a snare at a mob and killing it while it has white particles. And that is exactly how we're going to do it here, because we don't have any kind of sentient weapon, unfortunately. And so the first thing that we're going to have to do is craft up a snare. Thankfully, you do get multiple of these with every craft. We're going to craft up a few of them, although to be fair, I don't think we're going to need quite that many. And now we head on outside. Thankfully, it is the middle of the night. I'm going to go over again through to the mining dimension just because it's so much easier to find mobs there. I've kind of gone round and put torches all around my base. And so all we've got to do now is find a mob, such as this spider over here. And then if we right click, we can throw the snare at the mob. And you want to wait for the white particles to appear, because you can see the first 4 times we did it, I don't see any white particles. I'm fairly certain we have to wait until we see white particles. I didn't think it was going to require this many snares. Really? Hold on. Let me kill this guy, because I'm fairly certain. Oh, we did get a demonic will. Do I have particles turned off? Oh, what the heck? I've got particle set to minimal. Okay, so what the heck? Okay, so you want to wait until you have until you see the white particles. I wasted all of my snares there because we probably saw the white particles maybe after the first snare there. Sometimes I found when I was playing Sky Factory 3, it might take 1 or 2 snares to get it to work, but definitely not 12, I don't think. So make sure that you have particles set up so you can see the particles when they arise. But now that we have the demonic will, we should have everything we need to make the blood altar. So we'll craft all that stuff up and then throw the demonic will at the bottom, and that is going to get us a standard blood altar, which hasn't changed all too much from 1.7, and that is the reason why I built this new room, by the way. It's identical to the room on the left here with our woot spawner in it. This one is going to be for the blood altar. I might have to make this room bigger at some point, or maybe even move the blood altar to another room, because I don't think that this room is quite big enough for the highest tiers of altar, but for starting out and with like the first couple of tiers, it should work just fine. So for those who are unfamiliar with blood magic, the way that this works is we use a sacrificial dagger, which is this guy over here. Real easy to make. It's 5 glass, 1 golden ingot, and then 1 iron ingot. And we use this. I did smelt up some glass. I am prepared for this crafting recipe. Here we go. And we use this to transfer our HP into life essence inside of the blood altar. So if I go ahead and right click with this, it's going to take 1 heart off of my health, and it's going to put, I think, 200 life points worth of blood into the blood altar. Now, it did just disappear, and I'm not quite sure why that happened. I don't know if there's a new mechanic installed in 1.10 to where the blood very slowly drains out over time, because while I was testing this in a single player world, it did the exact same thing. The blood slowly drained away. So if you know why that's happening, please let me know in the comment section down below. But the reason that we put the life points in the altar is to perform certain crafts. For example, if we wanted to make some of the runes from blood magic, we need 2 of these blank slates, and the blank slates are made in the blood altar with 1 piece of stone and 1,000 life points. So if we come back around over here, we should have a bunch of stone from the smelting that we did earlier. We do indeed. And so now if we put this into the blood altar and then we right click with this a couple of times, it's going to take the life points off of us, put it into the blood altar, and then that blood altar is going to infuse those life points into the stone. Now thankfully with the new 1.10 combat update, your health regenerates much faster, which makes the whole blood magic thing so much easier than it was in 1.7, where you had to wait forever in order to get all of your health back. But that gets us 1 of those blank slates. We can do the same thing again here. You do want to make sure that you have life points in the blood altar at all times to make sure that you can infuse them into whichever item you have in here. And then any second now, we should get our second blank slate like so, and we can use this to craft up the blank rune, but we are still missing the weak blood orb, which is made in the exact same way in a tier 1 altar with 2,000 life points, but this time, instead of with stone, we use a diamond, but it is dark outside, so we're going to have to sleep, because otherwise, our AE system does not have any power whatsoever. Now that it's back online, let's go ahead and grab a diamond. Let's try and do the exact same thing over here. We'll drop you in there. We'll quickly eat some food to fill up our hunger. Our health should start regenerating quite rapidly, and that should allow us to very easily turn this diamond into a weak blood orb. Nice. That took a lot longer than I thought it would to craft, but we now have a weak blood orb, which is going to allow us to craft up these blank runes, which are made with 6 stone, 2 blank slates, and then any of the blood orbs from blood magic. We've got the first tier of blood orb, which is the weak blood orb, and that's going to get us a blank rune. And these blank runes can be used to upgrade the blood altar to a higher tier. So right now, we have a tier 1 blood altar, but we can't really see how many life points are in the blood altar. We can't see what tier it is, although you'll have to take my word for it. It is a tier 1 blood altar. And we also can't see the capacity of the blood altar. But thankfully, blood magic does add the Divination Sigil, which is a sigil that's going to allow us to see all of that. It's going to show us the current tier, it's going to show us how many life points are in the blood altar at any given time, and also the total capacity of the blood altar. Now, to make this, we need some Arcane Ashes, we need some redstone, and we need a blank slate. Now, let me quickly throw this stone back in here and see if we can't get that second blank slate real quick. 5 hearts, I think, is 1,000 life points, and therefore should be enough to craft up this stone. Some items do absorb the life points faster than others. You'll see that blank slate there took 1,000 life points very quickly, whereas the weak blood orb and the diamond that was used to make it took quite a long time to get all the 2,000 life points required to make it. And so I'm not quite sure what's up with that, but we've got the blank slate, we've got the redstone. Arcane Ash is made in the Hellfire Forge with redstone, bone meal, gunpowder, and coal, as well as another one of these demonic wills. And the Hellfire Forge, thankfully, is fairly easy to make. It does require a block of iron, making it just a little bit on the expensive side, but for the most part, it is fairly easy stuff. And this guy is just a singular block, which has a very ominous name, but for the most part, is pretty simple. And what we can do in here is we can infuse demonic will into certain items. So let me grab the gunpowder, the bone meal, the coal. Let's see, gunpowder, bone meal, and then coal, and I think redstone was the last one. We'll take a piece of coal and a piece of redstone, and combining all of these together in the Hellfire Forge, by default, is not going to do anything. But if we go and get another demonic will, we should be able to get this thing up and running. So let me quickly craft up some more of these snares and see if I can't see the particle effects this time. Okay, here we go. Thankfully, it is just about to be the end of the day. I'm not quite sure what happens if we throw this kind of at this guy. There we go, white particle effect. After the second one, we'll kill him. Didn't get a demonic soul, that's fine. Let me see about doing this. Oh, not on you, not on you. Let's do this on this guy if we can. Come on, where are these? Ah, stop it. Where are these white particles at? Is it just a thing with spiders, maybe? Do spiders just, like, not show these white particles? No? Okay, we just didn't have it. Let me try this one more time. I'm hoping it works with spiders during the day. I'd assume it would. I'm going to throw these on. What the? Oh, no, there we go. Okay, we have white particles. We have white particles. White particles confirmed. There we go. We got a demonic will. And now if we put one of these demonic wills into here, that's going to go and transfer that demonic will into the Hellfire Forge. And I think when this bar fills up, it should craft up the Arcane Ash. Cool. And I believe this has gone ahead and pulled the will quality down. So this one has a will quality of 4.75, and this one only has a will quality of 0.69. Does it say in here what will quality you need? Yeah, so it says minimum will is 0, drained will is also 0? I'm not quite sure what that means, but I think you do have to put a demonic will into this slot in order to make that work. But now that we've got this Arcane Ash, we should have what it takes to make this Divination Sigil. Now, I got this wrong last time, and I think I know the correct way to do this. So if we quickly, in JEI, if we look up the recipe for the Divination Sigil, it says that we need to, in the Arcane Ash, we need to infuse a blank slate with some redstone, I think. So the way this works is you right-click on the floor with the Arcane Ash. It's going to draw this like circle with triangles inside of it. Then if you right-click with a blank slate, it's going to do nothing. But then if you add redstone to that, nothing's going to happen again. Okay, so that's not correct. Let me try this another way. If we put down the Arcane Ash, then the redstone, it's going to change to the circle with the triangle and the eye. And then finally, if you add the blank slate to that, it's going to start spinning in a really cool animation. I really like this new like mechanic in the 1.10 version of Blood Magic. And after a couple of seconds, it should turn into, you guessed it, the Divination Sigil. Nice, and we also get to keep our Arcane Ash. We can do this multiple times over with one set of Arcane Ashes. And now, if we right-click on the Blood Altar with the Divination Sigil in hand, we can see in the bottom left, in the chat, the current tier is 1, the current essence is 200, and the current capacity is 10,000. So it isn't actively draining out at this point. If I quickly get out my Sacrificial Dagger and put in another heart worth, does that take us to 400? It does. So each HP is worth 200 life points, and so it should take 5 hearts worth to turn 1 stone into 1 rune. But what we can do now is we can actually upgrade our Blood Altar to a tier 2 Blood Altar, which is going to be required in order to make some of the items from Blood Magic. And the way that you upgrade the altar, at least from tier 1 to tier 2, is by surrounding the lower level of the Blood Altar with these runes. You don't have to use blank runes. There are actually quite a lot of runes in the mod, and all of these other runes do different things. For example, the speed rune will increase the speed at which the life points are absorbed into your item, for example, making those blank slates faster for us. But for the time being, we don't have a whole lot of stuff to craft with, and so we're just going to stick with the normal blank runes here. And so what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to go away. I'm going to get the 8 blank runes that we need in order to upgrade our Blood Altar from tier 1 to tier 2. I'm going to just go away and make 16 of these blank slates, and I'll be back in a second. And not too long later, we've now got the 14 blank slates that we need in order to make the remaining 7 blank runes. Let me quickly grab a little bit more stone, and we should be able to craft all of these up like so. Let's throw this in there. Nice. So now we've got all of these. All we have to do to upgrade our tier 1 Blood Altar to a tier 2 Blood Altar is replace the 8 blocks surrounding the block beneath it, if that makes sense. These 8 blocks that I just mined out here. And if we put down the blank runes in place of the blocks that were just there, and then right-click on the Blood Altar with our Divination Sigil, you can see that we now have a tier 2 Blood Altar. The capacity is still the same, and the amount of essence in there is still the same, because we didn't add any runes that increase capacity, like the Rune of Capacity or the Rune of Augmented Capacity, but we did upgrade our altar to tier 2, and so now any crafting recipes that require a tier 2 altar, for example, the Dagger of Sacrifice requires an Iron Sword in a tier 2 altar with 3,000 life points, we would now be able to make this because we have a higher tier altar. To the best of my knowledge, there are 6 tiers of altar that get very large indeed. I think the largest one is either 21 by 21 or 23 by 23. It's a very big altar, but this has been the basics of Blood Magic. Next episode, we're going to upgrade this altar to tier 3. Between episodes, I'll get some more blank runes so we can upgrade it fairly easily. And we're also going to start looking into rituals. One ritual in particular that I want to set up that's going to make my life, hopefully, quite a bit easier. But for now, guys, if you did enjoy the video, as always, be sure to hit like. It will just help out a lot. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Ding that bell to be the first ones to be notified when new videos go out. And hey, if you're looking for something new to watch, how about one of the 2 videos on screen? Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.